This is my wife, Beth.
And this is my husband, Jim. And these are our 2 children.
Sarah?
And Paul.
This movie is about talking with your kids about sex. And the truth is, we're doing that all the time with our kids, even if we have our mouths shut.
The way we hold the children, how we caress them or kiss them, that's telling them something about the way we feel about each other. We show them that showing love is a good thing.
That's one kind of talking about sex, and it goes on all the time.
The other kind is talking with words.
What's that?
Your toe.
What's that?
Your nose.
What's that?
Your penis.
What's that?
Your ear.
What's that?
My nose.
Kids are interested in their bodies, and they're just as interested in the sexual parts as any other parts.
There's no point in acting funny about the sexual parts, calling them by cute names, or not talking about them at all.
That would just draw the kids' attention to them, make them feel they're different somehow, and maybe something to be ashamed of.
What's that thing Paul has?
That's his penis.
You have one too, a big one.
That's right. All men and boys have a penis.
What's it for?
What do you think it's for?
It's how he goes to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. He urinates through his penis.
Why is he different from me?
Because boys' and girls' bodies are made differently. You have things that boys don't have.
What kind of things?
Well, there's a special place inside you where babies can grow. It's called the uterus. Only girls can have babies, you know.
Can I have a baby?
You can when you grow up, sweetheart, if you want to. Whenever I see the kids playing with their genitals, it bothers me. I know it's normal and it won't do any harm, but it still bothers me. So I find them something else to do. Paul, you help me make the bed, please?
Okay.
Of course, if he does it in public, rules have to be laid down. Paul, do you have to go to the bathroom? Then stop that, please. Paul, you mustn't play with your penis when you're in a place where people can see you.
Why?
Because it bothers other people to see you doing it.
It feels good.
Uh-huh. But it's not something you do in public. It's just not good manners, okay?
Okay.
A child has a right to some privacy. So if Paul wants to play with himself in bed when he's alone, I'm not going to stop him.
But we have to teach him some rules, such as not doing it in public, so he can learn to respect other people's privacy, too.
Speaking of privacy... What's the matter?
I want a drink of water.
Go back to your room. I'll bring you one.
We've got to get a bigger house with thick walls and heavy doors with big locks on them.
Don't you want it?
No.
Is something wrong, Sarah? Sarah, you mustn't come into our room like that without knocking.
But I heard noises. It sounded like you and Daddy were fighting. Was Daddy hurting you?
No, honey. Daddy wasn't hurting me, and we weren't fighting. We were playing and feeling lots of love for each other. You go to sleep now, and please don't come into our bedroom when the door is closed without knocking.
Good night, baby. We love you.
Sarah and Paul are growing up.
And Beth's pregnant.
Mommy, why are you getting so fat? Because she's gonna have a baby. Is it inside you?
That's right. Come and put your hand here. You can feel it move. Feel it?
Is it in your stomach?
No, it's growing in a special place called the uterus.
How big is the baby going to get?
About this big.
How is it going to get out?
There's an opening between my legs called the vagina. It gets out through there.
How?
It's just a little opening now, Paul. But when the baby's ready to be born, it'll stretch big enough for him to get out.
Is the baby going to be a boy?
We don't know that yet, Paul. We won't know until it's born. That satisfied Paul, for the time being.
There's no point telling him more than he wants to know, or more than he's ready to understand.
Sarah didn't even look interested. I guess she figures she knows a lot more about babies than a little kid like Paul.
But the words weren't wasted on her. One of the good things about talking to the kids about sex is that the content, what you tell them, is only part of the value of it. The very fact you're talking about sex is important too, because that lets the kids know that it's a subject that's okay to talk about.
You're telling them that they can talk about it too, and ask questions.
Which they usually will do.
Usually at the wrong time.
Mommy, I understand how the baby gets out of you, but how does it get in?
Now, why is that such a hard question to answer?
I guess it's because our heads are full of emotions, when all Sarah wants to know is how something works.
So the trick is to try to see the question as Sarah sees it, and to give her a straightforward answer in her own terms.
And forget about the emotions. That's not what Sarah's interested in now.
And we can wait until we get out of the restaurant.
Sarah, the baby started inside of me as a tiny egg that's made by my body.
Is it like a chicken egg? No.
No. It doesn't have a hard shell, and it's much smaller.
It's as small as the point of a pin.
It's one cell big, and a person's body is made up of millions and millions of cells. But that egg cell, Sarah, won't grow into a baby unless it's joined by another cell, a special kind of cell, called a sperm cell. And the sperm cell can only come from the father.
How does the father get the sperm cell into the mother?
The father puts his penis into the mother's vagina. You know what that is?
Yes.
The sperm cell goes out of his penis into the place where the egg cell is.
So you see, it takes a mother and a father both to start a baby growing.
Can me and Tia watch the next time you do it?
No. Your mother and I want to be alone when we do that.
Is that what all the kids call screwing?
Yes, but that's not the real name for it. The real name is sexual intercourse.
Sometimes you wonder if it's a mistake telling your kids about sex. Wouldn't it be better just to let them stay innocent?
But realistically, you know they're going to find out about sex somewhere, whether you tell them or not.
And there are advantages to our telling them. And not necessarily that we think we can tell them better than someone else.
The point is, we want to be able to talk about sex in our family, because we feel if we can do that, our children will grow up understanding that sex is a normal part of them.
And it doesn't matter if we're a little bit embarrassed sometimes, or if we don't have all the answers. The important thing is that we keep an open attitude toward the subject, and the kids see that we do.
Shit!
What did you say?
Nothing.
Do you know what that word means?
It means you're mad. Why do I have to do my homework now?
People sometimes use that word when they're mad, Sarah. But what does it mean? Does it mean what comes out when you have a bowel movement?
I guess so.
That's what it means. Is that what you wanted to say?
I just wanted to let you know I was mad.
Well, next time, find another way to do it. Please. I don't like to hear you use that word. It's not elegant.
Yes, Daddy.
Sometimes the kids use a bad word just to check and see what it means, and see what effect it has.
They see what effect it has. You tell them what it means, and you let them know it's not a word you like to hear them use.
If they didn't hear some of your language, it might be easier to convince them.
I'll try to be more careful.
Now Sarah's wondering when she's going to grow up.
Mama, when am I going to start having my period?
Different girls start at different times, Sarah. Some start pretty young, others older. I was about 13 when I started. Maybe you'll take after me.
Does it hurt?
Oh, some women feel bad when they're menstruating, or just before. I've been pretty lucky. I usually feel fine. Hey, don't worry about it.
Do you think I should start carrying one of those things you showed me in case it happens when I'm at school?
You mean a sanitary pad or a tampon? Sure, once you put one in your locker. I still think it's early for you, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to be ready.
I think I will. Mama, when are my breasts going to get bigger?
I suppose one of the most important reasons for talking frankly with your children about sex from the beginning is that by the time they reach puberty and there are things they have to know, they're not afraid to ask you about them, and you're not afraid to tell them.
And also, the kids will have a lot of the important information in mind, so it won't come as such a big shock to them when their bodies do start to change.
Sarah already understands how menstruation works. Of course, I'll tell her again to make sure she understands.
Do you understand it?
I do now, but I didn't when she first started asking me questions. Can you believe it? I was past 30, and I didn't really know what was going on inside my own body. I had to read a book to find out.
Well, Sarah could read it in a book, too.
Sure, and see it in a movie, and hear it from her teachers and so on. And that's good. But I want to tell her, too.
Mama, it started.
What started, honey?
My period, right after ancient history. I was lucky I was ready, and I was lucky I was near the girls' room, too. Mama, why does there have to be blood?
The blood comes from the lining of the uterus, Sarah. It's there because the egg needs nourishment. You know, it's not like you were cut or hurt in any way. The blood is perfectly normal.
I know. Will it happen every month?
Probably not at the start. At the start, it's likely to be irregular. Now, you mustn't worry if it...
Hey, that's mine.
Yours?
Yes, I'm having my period.
What's a period?
What do you mean having a period? Having a period's like having babies. You're not old enough to have babies.
Having a period isn't the same as having babies, Paul. Haven't I told you how it works?
Yeah, but I forgot. It's all girl stuff anyhow.
Now, let me tell you again. About once every month, an egg cell is produced in the ovaries in a woman's body. And if the egg isn't fertilized by a sperm cell from a man, it won't grow.
Is it all girl stuff? Not really.
Paul will be dealing with females for the rest of his life. It's important for him to understand something about how their bodies work, as well as about his own.
Mama, do you think I should stop being friends with Karen Jacobs?
Why should you stop being friends with her?
Well, maybe you wouldn't want me to have anything to do with her anymore.
Why not?
Well, the crowd she goes with now is kind of fast. Some of them are having sex with each other. Karen's having sex with her boyfriend.
How do you know?
She told me.
Do you believe her?
Yeah. Do you think I should stop being friends with her?
Do you think you should stop being friends with Karen?
I don't know. I still like her. But do you think she's old enough to be having sex?
Well, here it is. After all, it's a new generation, isn't it? Everyone's in love with youth, and whatever youth does goes. Senior high? Junior high? There's a temptation to say, sure, it's up to her. Whatever she wants. But that's not what I believe. No, I don't think she's old enough. I don't think she's old enough to really understand what it means and what might happen. What do you think?
I don't think she's old enough either. Her birthday's just 3 months before mine is, and I'm not old enough. Am I?
No, you're not.
I don't think so either. I'm still going to be friends with her, but I think Karen's crazy.
Paul's growing and changing in lots of ways, but developing an interest in housekeeping isn't one of them. You're making up your bed.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. It's a miracle.
Mom, why are you always bugging me?
Paul, I'm not. What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. I had another wet dream.
But Paul, you know there's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about that before, and you know it's perfectly normal.
I know we've talked about it, and I know it's normal. I just didn't want you to see.
Okay, I didn't see.
It's not easy talking with adolescents. They're half kids, half adults. They want to be treated like adults. They want to be treated like kids at the same time. It makes conversation difficult.
Also, the fact that the kids are developing sexually makes it harder. You worry more about them. You want to protect them. Just at a time when half of the child doesn't want to be protected at all.
It's a good time to have a backlog of confidence built up between you and your children. It makes continued communication at least possible.
Hi, Mom. Linda's invited me to her house for the weekend. She and her brother are going to have a real big party. Can I go?
Sarah's all grown up. At least that's what she tells me. May I go? Who's going to be at the party?
All the kids.
Girls and boys?
Of course, Mom. What do you think?
Will Linda's parents be there?
No, just the kids. Her mother and father have to go off somewhere for the weekend. That's why we've got the house.
No grown-ups.
Mother, what do you think I am? Don't you trust me at all? I'm 15 years old. All the other kids are going. Their parents don't mind.
I do trust you. But I don't want you to go if there aren't going to be any grown-ups there.
Mother, that isn't fair. You're treating me like a baby. What'll I tell all the other kids?
Tell them your mother wouldn't let you go.
You think Sarah really wanted to go to that party?
I don't know. I think she did.
Maybe. Or maybe she just wanted to have you as an excuse to get out of something that scared her a little bit. The kids scream for freedom, but they worry if you don't lay down some rules.
The thing is, we don't always have the final say anymore. I can keep Sarah home from that party, but I can't keep her from doing the things she wants to do in the long run.
That's right. All you can do is let her know what you want for her and why.
I've got to tell her what I think about things. If I don't, then I'm cheating her, and I'm cheating myself.
I guess I shouldn't have cleaned out the garage. The magazines were pornographic and well thumbed. I inspected them carefully and wondered what to do. I could have kept my mouth shut. I don't know if pornography really corrupts. And I don't think that masturbation is something that can be normally shut off.
Then why did you say anything at all?
Because I didn't like to think of him sitting out there with those things, with the door closed, all by himself. So I told him.
What did you do with them?
I put them back. They're still out there. Where did you get them?
A kid gave them to me. No, I didn't. I paid for them. Did you look at them?
Sure. It'd be hard not to.
Yeah.
Do you masturbate when you look at those pictures?
Sometimes. Will that hurt me, Dad?
No. Everyone masturbates sometimes.
Yeah. Did you see the size of the penises on some of those guys? When's my penis gonna grow?
Different people grow at different times. I didn't start developing until I was 14 or 15. Don't worry, you'll grow.
Yeah. You know, those magazines, they make sex look kind of dirty.
Yes, they do that.
Sex isn't supposed to be dirty. Was it, Dad?
No, it's not.
Why didn't you throw them away?
They're yours.
Yeah. I guess I'll throw them away. I was getting sort of tired of them anyhow.
Okay.
Do you think I could sell them to somebody else?
What do you think?
No, I guess I better not. Why'd you have to clean out the garage, Dad? I would have thrown them out anyway.
Sarah's a young lady now, and full of surprises.
Mom, if I asked you, would you get me some pills?
What kind of pills?
Birth control pills. Contraceptives.
What do you want them for?
Mom, that's a pretty dumb question.
Maybe it is. What do you want them for?
I don't want to get pregnant.
Good for you. I don't want you to get pregnant either.
Then will you get me some pills?
No. No pills, no diaphragm, nothing.
Mom, that's a very foolish attitude.
Maybe it is, but that's how I feel. My attitude is, if you're old enough to need the pills, you're old enough to get them yourself.
No pills.
Not from me. I'm not depriving you. There are places you can go get them. You have an allowance you can save up.
You don't mean that.
No, I don't. Not really.
I'd rather get them from you.
I know you would. You want me to tell you it's okay.
That's right.
I can't. I'm glad you know that you should use contraceptives if you're going to have sexual intercourse, but you know there's more to sex than that. And I can't tell you to go ahead.
I didn't think you could.
You know me pretty well, don't you?
You know me pretty well.
I think I do, Sarah.
You do. No pills. Not now, anyhow.
Well, that's okay for this time. But it's not over. It's going to keep coming back. And I'm going to keep doing my best to help Sarah make what I think are wise choices for the right reasons. But the choices have to be hers if they're going to make any real difference.
And now Paul's a young man, complete with a steady girlfriend and a highly developed sense of always being right. Harriet's father called.
For me?
No, for me.
What did he want?
He's concerned about Harriet. Oh, he was very nice. He likes you. But he seems to have reason to think that you and Harriet have been getting into a very heavy kind of petting.
He told you that. Has he been spying on us? Doesn't he trust his own daughter?
I don't know. I don't know what he's been doing, and I don't know who he trusts.
Look, what Harriet and I do is our own business. If we want to have sex together, then that's our business too.
Is it?
Well, yes, it is. What's the big deal? Everybody else is doing it.
Are they? Even if they are, everybody else isn't you.
What do you want me to be? Some kind of saint?
I want you to have respect for Harriet. I don't want you to do anything to hurt her.
It's not the same as it was in your day, Dad. Girls don't have to take any more risks now than boys do. They've got the pill now, and they've got abortions. It's all evened out.
You think abortion isn't a risk?
They do them in hospitals now, Dad, not on kitchen tables. Where have you been?
Are you in love with Harriet?
Sure, and she's in love with me.
And you don't want to do anything to hurt her, do you?
Of course I don't. I just want to make her happy. But she expects it as much as I do, Dad. Look, I never said we're having sex together.
Okay. But just remember, whatever it is you're having, or whatever it is you're not having, you have responsibilities. You have responsibilities to yourself, to me, to your family, to the girl, to her parents. And you're old enough to worry about what comes next. and accept all the responsibilities. Is that asking too much?
No, I guess not. But don't you know that's what I'd do anyhow?
Would you? I guess you would. I hope you will.
Sarah's started college. A very lovely girl, if I do say so myself. And it seems I'm not her only admirer.
Mom? Gordon's asked me to marry him.
He has? What did you say?
Nothing. I haven't decided yet. I wanted to talk to you first. What do you think I should do? You like Gordon, don't you?
Oh, yes, I like him.
Do you think we'd be happy together?
I don't know. You're both very young.
I'm 19.
I know you are. You're both very young. Marriage can be wonderful, Sarah, but it can bring problems, too, and you'd both have to be ready for them. You wouldn't have enough money. You might have to quit school. We couldn't help you out much.
I know.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I love him, but I don't know.
We don't know either. The decision can only be hers.
We just hope we've done all we can to give her the basis for making a decision that'll be right for her.
I hope you don't think that all we talk about in this family is sex, or that we just go from one crisis to another. That's all you've seen because that's what this movie's about.
Of course, sex is just one of the things a family talks about. The point is, it needs to be one of those things.
And we've tried to talk about it honestly with our children.
We've tried to keep in mind from the beginning that, well, children are people too. No better and no worse than grown-up people.
And we've tried not to give them cliches or words out of textbooks. What we believe guides what we say and how we say it. But we realize it's all person to person and that each person is different.
And of course, nothing is final. The talk goes on.
And we've tried to listen as well as talk.
We think they'll turn out fine.
We hope so.